Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be making some specimen slides for a swap over at Paper Inspirations. This video won't go live until after I know that the recipient has received her little parcel. Okay, so I'm going to use this die. I've already pre-cut all of these. This is a Global Land die, and I've cut some of the plain because it has like a plain frame, and then it has this that can go over the top as a decorative layer, like so. So I've cut some of each of those. I have also cut the acetates to go in them. I have cut some of this size, so that's that one, and I've used this cream cardstock to cut some plain ones. I have cut two of these butterflies here just out of lace coffee dyed paper, and I've put some rhinestones on it. I've backed it with, so I've cut two and then I've backed them back to back to use as a decoration on one of my slides. I have used, so I've created some bigger specimen slides here, and to do that I used one of these dies, I think the second or third biggest, I can't remember which, and this square die out of this die set, because that's the only square die I have. I haven't got the layered squares. I figured I could easily cut squares, but they come in handy for this sort of thing. So yeah, I use these rectangles and that square to make this size specimen slide. I just used my mint tape to secure those two frames together, and then run them through my die cutting machine in the one hit. So that's those two, and then I used this Tim Holtz 665930 specimen file folder to cut this tiny one, which is this one. So I've got a bit of an assortment there, so I just thought I'd make a bit of a variety and see how we go. So they're all the dies and the cardstock. I also used some coffee dyed cardstock. So I've got this lace coffee dyed cardstock that I have cut some out of. I've got this coffee dyed paper that I cut, well that's that one of them there. I've got some book page that I cut one of the fancy frames out of. So that's the whole idea of all of the bits and pieces that I've cut. Now I also have cut acetate frames for all of them. Now the idea of the specimen slides is that we sandwich our acetate between the two frames like that. But before I do that, I am going to ink around them. So inking around all of these frames can be quite time consuming, so I'm going to turn my camera off and do all the inking ready, and when I've done all that I'll come back and we'll start to assemble our specimen slides. Okay, so I've inked around everything, and I thought I might do a bit of stamping on them. So I'm going to use this Darkroom door stamp. It's called Handwriting. I'm going to use the big stamp, the scripty part, and I'm going to just stamp and put that down there. Now I'm not worried about making sure that it's perfectly stamped. Just here and there is fine. So that's that one. And I'll do the same for, so this is going to be the back of that. So I don't know whether it's normal to make sure that the backs are as neat and tidy as the fronts, but that's my preference, so that's what I'm going to go with. So that will be the front and the back like that of that one. So I might do these as well. So this one goes so like that. Just a little bit here and there. Not necessarily perfect. I'm using text, I probably want to make sure it's up the right way, don't I? Now these, do I want to put some script on these? Why not? And these, I have already stuck the decorative panel on the front. Where's the... oh yeah. So, and I've cut coffee dyed to go on the back, so I'm just going to leave those like that. I'm quite happy with that. Like so. So, I've attached these just using art glitter glue. They're a bit fiddly and a bit time consuming to do that, so I didn't do that on screen, but you can see the end result. Quite cute. Okay, so now let's tidy this up a little. Alright, now our next job is to attach the fronts and the backs, sandwiching the acetate in between them. So, to do that, I'm going to just run a bead of glue around here. And lay the acetate on top. So, oops, unbelievable. I've cut that so that it's slightly narrower, but the length doesn't really matter because that's going to be covered, as you know. So that's what we've got. And because that mat was wet, I've got liquid on my acetate. Doesn't really matter how careful I am with this acetate, I always manage to get it filthy. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's okay. And now I'm going to apply glue to this around the edges. Around the edge of the square, trying not to get too close and not too much glue on there because I don't want that squirting up onto my acetate. And then try and get that down on there without getting glue all over the place. So I'm lining that edge up and hopefully there we go. So there's our first. Now this one, I'm just going to stick the acetate behind the circle here because I don't know yet what I'm going to put in there. So I'm just going to attach the acetate on here. Try and get that on there in the correct place the first time around. And then wipe out. There we go. This one is the same sort of idea as that bigger one, so turn it over, put the glue around the edge here to just attach the acetate to the frame. And remember to wipe out with our tissue so that any excess glue is not going to go onto our acetate. Then add glue to this one and attach that onto that. Okay. Now this one, I thought I would add some acetate, some vellum behind it, just for a change. So I need to, I'm going to just attach that. I want that way. So this is the back of the frame, or the inside back should I say. And I'm going to put that on there like so, and stick that down. And then I'm going to take my scissors and trim that off. Like so. And then I will attach that on top of there. So just as a variation to the acetate, I thought the vellum might be nice. So there we go. That's how you assemble your slides. So I'm going to just turn the camera off and do them. Okay, so there's a couple of other ways you can create your clear pieces for your centre of your specimen slide. This is some dried flowers that I have laminated. So they're encapsulated in that plastic and they can't escape. Now I can use that on my slide. So that will be the front of my slide. And now I can attach this to this, and then my laminated dried flowers are positioned in there. So there we've got our decoration on our slide already. All we need to do now is embellish it a little bit. Now there's also another way. Clean this up a little. Now I have cut 2 frames once again, and I'm going to attach one on the back like so. Okay, now I've got some little sprinkles here, so I'm going to add them to the slide. How many to add is a guessing game, so up to you how full or not full you want it. I think that's going to be more than plenty on there. Now I've got my second piece of acetate, and I'm going to run some glue around here and position this second piece of acetate over the top of that first, like so. Now we want to make sure we've got this completely sealed. It has to be sealed all the way around, otherwise our confetti pieces will come out. See how that glue's got it running out there? That is what I didn't want to happen. Okay, now I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to stick that over the top. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to dry, I thought I might just stick some of these other pieces down. So this is a cluster that I created some time ago, and I've backed it with some coffee dyed book page, and I'm going to attach that on here. Now I'm going to be able to see the glue at the back. I'm going to see how that looks when it's dry. Being art glitter glue, it does dry clear, and yeah, I'll just wait and see. If it's messy, well then I will add something else to it. Or put something on the back, you know. I have got another cluster that I could put on the back. It's a similar size, same sort of style. I'm just going to hold that for a minute because if I put something heavy on it, it's only going to sit on that wax seal. It's not going to actually press on the paper. Okay, now I also did one of these little ones with the vellum, and now I'm going to close this over. So this one I'm just going to run around the edge. I'm going to line the bottoms up the best I can, and then use my bone folder. Got that lined up nicely. Yes, so now I'm going to use my bone folder and just fold up like that. You can see I've got a little bit of vellum below, or like in that little divot there, so I'm just going to cut that out. Like so. These two, I'm going to put something on here, maybe some paper or something like that. Now this one, I have got some clear stickers, and I have stuck one on the back of the other, so that I've got two right sides, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to stick them on here. And I think that I have done that wrong. I think I'd be better off if I took these apart. So I'm going to stick one on here. And turn it over and attach one on the back. Okay, so there we have, I don't know whether you can see that very well with the glare, we've got a floral sticker on the front and on the back, so it looks good on both sides. Now this one, I've got this crocheted flower. I think it's a uniquely creative flower, and I've coffee dyed it, and I thought I might just stick that on there. So I'm going to do that. Probably should be using Fabri-Tac, but I'm going to try it with this. Glitter glue usually sticks everything in place. I'm hoping that the glue doesn't look too bad on the back. Just have to wait for the glue to dry on all of these before we can see how much it's actually going to show through the vellum or the acetate. So that's that one. Pretty. Now on this one I have, as I said, I've cut 2 butterflies and I've stuck them back to back, and I've just added some gems to the centre, so I'm just going to attach that on there. Once again, I should have probably left them separate, which is what I should have done. If I can see the glue when it dries, I will just cut another butterfly and attach it on the back. That looks cute, doesn't it? I hope you can see them. Okay, and same thing here. This is a fussy cut butterfly. I've double-sided that one as well. I've inked around the edges, and now I'm going to attach that in there. So that just fits. And my last one is a vellum, not a vellum, an acetate butterfly, I guess. I'm not really that sure what it is, to be honest. Moth, butterfly. And this one I think is too wide for that, so it's going to overhang the frame like so. So with that in mind, I'm just going to add glue here and here, and perhaps a little dab down there, which is the best way to do this. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to let those dry for a while, and I'm going to go and get some paper or something to put behind these. So I'll check that out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to work on these first. So I'm going to attach that on there. So this is one way of doing these smaller frames. Now I'm going to attach that on there like so. How do I want it? More like that maybe, so it fills up a bit more of the frame. I want it to come down like so. So let's add that. And then we can glue the frame shut. Now, let's see if we've got it square, which we haven't. Hold that in place. Then our bone folder up here, like so. There it is squarer. Now I can add glue here, around here, and stick this down. So again, I'm going to try and work the glue away from the acetate. Like that. So that's that one. This one here is the one that I put the vellum on, the printed vellum, and now I'm just going to attach this on top of that vellum, because the vellum is basically the background for the image. So that's that one. And this one, I'm not going to put anything on the background. I'm just going to put this on here and then fold that over. So let's fold this. Try and make sure we line it up nicely. Now, position this in there. And I'm just going to put a few little bits of glue here and there on this. It doesn't need to be held firmly in place because the acetate will do that. I just want to anchor it so that yep, that looks good. Oops, I moved it a bit, but I've got some little bits and pieces hanging over here, so I'll just trim them off, not many. And then this can be stuck down. So there's a reasonable amount of work involved to get your slides to the stage where you can embellish them. So that's those three different ways of doing those same slides. Now let's have a look at this one. This should be dry by now. Dry enough for us to work with anyway. Now I'm going to attach this on top of that, like so. You can see they wriggle around. We've got a little bit of acetate hanging out there, so I'm going to trim that off. And there we have a shaker. Okay, so what do we have? So we've got, these are all ready now to be embellished. So our first one that we did, the glue's dried fine on that. I don't think I need to put anything on the back of that. I'm quite happy with it. So now it's time to start embellishing. Actually, before I start doing those, I'm going to add some brads to these. I've got some tiny little brads here. Tiny little black brads. So I'm going to add those. If I find my Pokey Tool. Now I don't want to make the holes too big here. They have actually got holes already marked in them, this particular die. I will put links to what I can in the description box. I think I might have to put a bit of glue under that and cut those legs off, because I don't really want the legs on the back. Okay, I'm going to let those dry before I cut those off the back. Now, I'm thinking that I might use some gold, like this sort of thing. Old gold glitter ink. I don't want ink. Some Nouveau drop type things though. What colour is that? Chipped sapphire. Let's go with the gold. Try one with gold and see how we go. Give it a bit of a shake up. I wouldn't remember when was the last time I used these, so still looks like it's going to work. I have to set that aside to dry somewhere safe, because you can bet your boots I will knock it. Okay, if you could see my desk over there. But then again, you've probably all got the same sort of thing. Now, what am I going to do with this one? How about if I put little eyelets? No, I think I might just put one eyelet. One of these floral eyelets in the corner there. So I've just got my crocodile. The hole in, so about there, and then put the flower in, and clamp that down. There we go. So we might pour a little something on that. So look what we've got here. We've got some ready-made dangles, but I don't know that I would have anything that small. Oh, got that. That's pretty. And I'll need a jump ring to attach that, so I could just use a bulb pin, couldn't I? Let me get a bulb pin. Here we go. So what colour do we want? Looks like that's got the gold on it, so I might go for the go for gold. Put that through there, and then through there. Do that up. And there we have a little dangle on that one. Actually, that bulb pin looks too long, doesn't it? Well, I think it does anyway. So I'm going to take it off and I'm going to get a jump ring. Okay, so I've added a jump ring, taken the bulb pin away, and I think it's better. Okay, so really, I think that one's got enough on it. So I'll just pop that there for the moment. Now I've got a couple of pairs of these and I'm not sure which ones are the best, but I'm going to cut these off. Okay, now I want to sort of burr them over a little bit so that they're not sharp. I did record the embellishing of these slides, but the video just got too long, so I have included just a flip through of the slides as they were finished. This is the first one, or this is one of them, and on all of them I have put this gold paste around the edge, and to do that I've used this metallic gilding polish. So you just put a bit on your finger and then rub it onto the areas where you want it. You can see it's still wet, so some of it's come off on my fingers. So that's one of our little slides. This one's got the little dangle on it. I think you've seen the decorations of this. This one's got the brads in the corner. This one's got the kindy glitz in the corner. So that's those three. Then I did an assortment of these. So, as I said, they've all got the gold around the edge. This one I stuck more with the whiter tones of embellishment because the background was a paler colour and the specimen on the slide had no colour to it, so kept it fairly neutral. This one's the one with the sticker on both sides of the transparency. I'm not really that keen on this one, but this one I made. This one is the one where I used the die cut butterflies, double-sided. I put the gems on the body and then I've just put some coffee dyed seam binding and a couple of little embellishments there. This is the one that has the dried flowers in the laminated sheet, and then I've added some little bit of embellishment on that. This one is the one that has the acetate, oh not the acetate, the vellum at the back, and it's got a fabric flower and then some embellishments here, and I've added the wink of Stella to the butterfly just to give it that nice little bit of sparkle. This one is the shaker one. I've put some cheesecloth behind that, a label and a pink flower. So that's more modernish than the vintage ones. And then this one is the larger one that I created. I cut with the large rectangle die and the square die. But you can of course make that without any dies at all. Just cut a rectangular piece of cardstock and then use your knife to cut a square out of it. And yeah, so that one, this is a cluster that I made previously. I'll put a link to that in the description box if you want to see how I made those. And I added this laces after I'd done the embellishment because it looked a bit bare. So there we are. There's my specimen slides for my swap over at Paper Inspirations. And I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. There's a good assortment of slides there, so a few ideas if you're interested in making some, and different ways of making them. Alright, well thanks for being here, and yeah, I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Okay, bye.